In the words of Coach Lombardi, what the hell's going on out there? Guess we'll find out next on your Packers Fan Podcast.
Hey, Packers fans, this is your unofficial Packers Fan Podcast, and these are the podcasters you're looking for. One of these guys was once a club DJ in a country saloon, and the other guy gave up his seats on the 20-yard line so 12,000 more fans could enjoy the game live. And now it's time to Go Pack Go with your hosts, Wayne Henderson and Troy Heinritz.
This is the Packers Fan Podcast, the show by and for fans of your 13-time NFL champion Green Bay Packers. And send in your feedback because this is Bears week, and after that Bears game, we need to hear from you. Go to PackersFanPodcast.com/feedback to be part of the show, or simply pick up your phone and dial +1 920 3-PACK-GO. This is episode 144 of your Packers Fan Podcast, recorded November 8th, 2017, and we will have show notes with links of things we talk about at PackersFanPodcast.com/144.
On this week's edition, we'll be talking about Brett Hundley or Mike McCarthy. Who is to blame for the offense the other night? We'll also talk about the curse of the TV announcer. Plus, you guessed it, more injury updates. Oh, fun. And some strange transactions and other shenanigans as well.
Very strange indeed. I can't wait to dig into these. We're also going to have the highlights from the Packers dope sheet for the Packers at Bears game. Troy's keys to the Packers beating the Bears. That's right. We're going to be victorious this week. We're also going to have your feedback from you, the G-Force. And I'm at Wayne Henderson, your voice acting, podcasting, part owner of your 13-time NFL champion Green Bay Packers, searching for the green and gold lining in our team's performance of late.
And me, I'm waving my arms like a wide open receiver on a route. I am Troy Heinritz, your gold ticket package holding and part owner of, can we still call these the Packers?
Maybe.
The Packers Fan Podcast is available on demand and on the go with our free Packers Fan Podcast app. It's available for both iOS and Android. And I got to tell you, Wayne, when you've been blessed for 20 plus years, this is just, oh my goodness.
It's heartbreaking. It's mind-boggling. I'm ever hopeful, but wow. It's like the train is going off the tracks.
But there's good things to talk about. Good things. Let's focus on the good things.
Absolutely. We are here to shine that bright light. You know, even though we did lose again, you know, there were some highlights. I mean, Mason Crosby, he did miss that first kick, but those last 9 seconds before halftime when the field goal unit rushes out onto the field and actually succeeded in getting the ball off in time and make a good field goal, that, even though it's only 3 points, I got to say that gave me a lot of hope. That was pretty exciting.
Well, that first 3 points, we can blame on the TV announcers because they said, hey, just this week they picked up a long snapper. I wonder how that's going to affect the situation. He botches a snap and then he can't get it put down. And then, of course, block field goal. Damn you, TV announcer. Damn you.
I know every time so-and-so hasn't thrown an interception in 195 games. Oh, snap. So, but didn't you think that was pretty cool how they got that field goal right before halftime?
That was amazing. I don't understand how they got that many people on and off the field
without a penalty.
Without a penalty, actually snap the ball, which they weren't able to do before, and make it actually happen. That was pretty impressive.
Yeah, I thought there's no way this is going to work. There's no way they're going to get it. Oh, wow, look, it's good.
One of the key highlights I found was that Hundley can actually throw the ball down the field for more than 5 yards and run a pretty good hurry-up offense. Maybe he should do that the whole game.
That would be nice. It'd be nice if we would just rush things along. It was encouraging because I know there'd been a lot of naysayers lately talking about Hundley never throws the ball more than 7 yards. Well, he can do it.
Well, some other good highlights were that we had 233 yards of passing in this game, which is more than the 80-plus that we had last time. So we're trending upward in the passing arena.
That's good for a team known as the Packers.
We also outrushed the Detroit Lions 78 yards to 64 yards.
Really? It didn't seem that way.
Sure did not. It sure did not.
In other words, the one thing our defense did well was stop the run.
Well, and when you think about it, yeah, the running game for the Lions, abysmal as it is, so it kind of helps us in that regard. I mean, they only averaged 1.9 yards per attempt, and we were still at the +4 mark, 4.6 yards per rush. So even though the running game didn't seem like it was working compared to the previous 2 weeks with Jones thrashing it for over 100 yards in each game, it was still an effective running game because they only ran the ball 17 times.
Interesting. Good way to look at it.
10 of those were from Hundley.
Well, true. And since there were hardly any flags thrown in this game, it just whizzed by. It was over before you knew it. 4
flags. That was it. The entire game. And one of those was in that first drive with Mike Daniels.
I think it's because the weather has turned chilly and the refs just didn't want to, it's too cold out. I'm not going to go to the trouble to throw a flag, even though Jordy Nelson's getting mugged on at least 2 occasions that were blatant.
I mean, it looked like he was wearing a bathrobe for a while, but I couldn't tell if that was a football player or some kind of undergarment.
It was insane.
Ridiculous. I'm sure that the UK and Irish fans were very appreciative of the fact that this game was over pretty quickly.
If they stayed tuned for the entire game, because this would have been a very late night, very early morning game for them. I know
especially given how it turned out.
Well, there's that. I know our friends in Australia, though, I guess it was a public holiday, at least in parts of Australia, and the kickoff was around 11:30 a.m., noonish. So that's like the perfect time to see a Packers game.
No doubt. Although this wasn't really a Packers game. This was something entirely unto its own. Man. Yeah. Oh, man. Defense. Let's talk about the defense. I mean, for years, we've all been saying fire Dom Capers. And for a couple of those years, we're like, yeah, but the injuries, I mean, he's got to do what he's got to do, but I'm sorry. You had HaHa, you had Morgan Burnett, you had Devon House, you had Demarius Randall, you had all of the star players out there, 150 plus, I think it was like 156, don't quote me, but over 150 yards, not in passing, not in rushing, on third down alone.
It's insane. I don't know. Do you think it's a case of blown coverages or just bad scheme or both? Because obviously every team in the NFL knows that if it's third down and they throw it, maybe 15 yards to the center of the field, the Packers are not going to even try to stop you.
And because of the fact that everybody knows exactly how Mr. Capers is going to blitz because he just doesn't have it anymore. And then you have the concept of, let's have Blake Martinez covering Golden Tate crossing across the middle. I don't know how many times I saw that matchup happen during the course of the game. I was about to just throw a football at my TV because you can't match up that way. You have to put in a dime package. You got to get Josh Jones in there. And this is just bad coaching all around.
It was frustrating as heck to watch because we take, like you said, a lot of pride in being a Packers fan because of how we've been blessed and spoiled for the past 20-something years. 25, going on almost 30, the Don Majkowski era, things were really on the upswing. And just, I don't know what this was. An aberration coming out of the bye week and then... Yeah.
And this has been 6 years now. 6 years of subpar defense. 6 years.
Yeah, remember when we had awesome defense and beasts and sacks?
Remember Al Harris?
Oh, I remember Al Harris. Yeah.
I want the ball. We're going to score.
Nope. Al Harris is going to score.
I mean, it's just, I don't get what's going on up there. I just don't. Especially when you look at the last couple of games and how many yards are put up against our defense. This game was 400 yards of offense again against the defense. 400 plus yards. It's unacceptable. If I had 400 yards put up against me at my day job, believe me, I would be fired on the spot.
Me too, Troy. Trying to put any sort of positive spin on it. I would like to think that after this embarrassment this past week, and not so great leading up to the bye week as well, but the embarrassment and the chaos and the fallout, that either heads are going to roll or people are going to be put on notice that a lot of heads are going to roll if we don't show up and at least beat the Bears, even though it's in Chicago.
No doubt.
One more week of this and the entire media, especially television, is just going to skewer the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, I mean, it all starts too on the offensive side of the football, because we can't be doing this throw to the line of scrimmage every single play. Now, granted, they scripted this somewhat so that way he would feel comfortable in the pocket, throw some throws that he was familiar with. But if you notice, it's like he was playing college football. This is exactly the kind of scheme that Hundley threw back at UCLA. This was all short passes, allow him to run out of the pocket, but all the things he was doing was just inept in a lot of ways. So I don't know if this was really Mike McCarthy's fault this week. A lot of people were saying Mike played it too safe and that he scripted stuff too badly and that he just didn't have it drawn up correctly. I'm going to tell you right now, most teams have either 10 to 20 plays at the start of the game, like scripted. No matter what, these are the 20 plays we're going to run, just to see if our film study was what it was, and that should get us 7 points on the board, right?
Exactly.
So if you look at it, they were on the, correct me if I'm wrong, but they were on the 22-yard line, and Hundley's lined up. He's got Jordy Nelson to the left in the slot, and it's like the perfectly designed play. So he literally, takes the ball, steps back, drops back, and on the break, you literally see Jordy go out to the left just a little bit and then cut right in front of the defender to the right, and he immediately puts his hand up in the air. And how Brett doesn't see him breaking to the end, it was a sure touchdown. But Brett had no clue he was there. No clue. So from that, looking at it from that perspective, I think the scheme was the right scheme. I think it's Hundley, because he's doing a lot of sloppy things that you would see from a college quarterback coming out. Yeah, he's got the chance where he's dropping back in the pocket, and instead of being in the pocket, he needs to step forward, right? You step up into the pocket, you step into your throw, and if you step into your throw and it's not there, you scramble forward. He's doing too much of the sidestepping and side shuffling and rolling out behind the pocket, and he's really making a good offensive line look horrible because of the way he's deciding to scramble with the football. So a lot of this is coming down on Hundley's just bad mechanics, and I don't care if you got 3 years invested in the guy, you sure didn't do a lot in those 3 years, because he's not looking like an NFL quarterback at this point.
And with this being Hundley's possible last year with the Packers, and he's trying to show the world and other teams of his value, he's going to have to step it up a notch or 2 or 3. It's flu season, but I'm not going to go there, Troy.
No.
And then, of course, early in the game, we're hearing the announcers letting us know that the Packers are back to having their favorite 5 offensive linemen all together.
Yeah, thanks, announcer guys. Appreciate it.
We got that. And now it just has gone from bad to worse.
Yeah, he's going to be out for the season, it sounds like, right? Is what I heard.
Yep.
Man. What are we going to do?
We need some help.
I think we should get help from the awesome G-Force, because I know they feel much better about this game than we do.
Don't be so sure.
Oh, no.
Yes, let's check in with listener feedback from 920-3PACK-GO. Starting it off with somebody we have not heard from before, I believe, and we don't have their name to give them full credit, but take it away.
I'm the biggest Packer fan in the world. We're not doing really good this year since Aaron Rodgers got hurt, but I'm looking so Brett Hundley can do something. We need to do something with our line. Just letting it get through. We need trade or something. We just need wins. We need to make playoffs like we usually do. It sucks that Aaron Rodgers is out, but we hope we can get it back soon. And thanks, Packers Podcast. You're my favorite podcast. Goodbye now.
Awesome. Great to hear from you. I think calling from somewhere in Virginia. Thanks for your kind words about the podcast. And I think you're onto something. We just need wins and wins and wins, and that would be very nice indeed. Thanks for giving us a call. That was good stuff.
Oh, man. Wins would be nice.
And playoffs like we usually do, which I think there's only been 1 or 2 years in the last couple decades where we haven't had the playoffs.
I think we need to channel some of the Badger magic. Get that flowing from Madison back up to the Green Bay area.
Yeah.
Why don't we check in with... Yeah, let's check in with Wisconsin and see what's going on in Wisconsin.
Yeah, this is Caleb Fisher from Merrill, Wisconsin. Wanted to get my intake on how badly the Packers were last night. Another thing I was really noticing is that Brett Hundley was not noticing the wide receivers at all. We also sustained another injury to Brian Bulaga, who was out for a season. Although our playoff hopes may be thin, I really think if Brett Hundley or Callahan can do something, we still might have the chance to make the playoffs. Bleed green gold, so we're dead and cold. Talk to you guys later.
Dead and cold is how I felt about 10 o'clock on Monday night. I mean, it's just like you watch this. I mean, this is one of the benefits of paying the $100 for the NFL Game Pass is that you can watch some of these camera angles. And it's just like, how do you not see how wide open some of these plays are? How do you not even see the passing lanes that are developing as you're scrambling out of the pocket? I mean, Lance Kendricks was open a few times in this game, the most action he's seen in a while since Martellus Bennett didn't even suit up for the game. So we'll get into that a little bit more later. But at the same time, I don't get it. Caleb's totally right. There were so many times the receivers were open. Hundley just had no vision.
This is one of those weeks where I don't think it's maybe as a player, but as a fan, it's not necessarily going to be a best use of your time to watch all the different camera angles of what we just saw. The 1 or 2
Somebody
camera angles.
Somebody has to because they're clearly not doing it up there.
Well, it'd be nice if the team would, but myself, the angles I saw on the broadcast of the game, that was plenty for me. So anyway, we're just... clearing this out because it's all uphill from here. Things are looking brighter all the time.
Always from sunny California.
Hey, this is Andre in LA. Caller on Wednesday, big fan of the show. Reading gold till I'm dead and cold. It's been a disappointing watching Brett Hundley. I don't know how much of it is he's not a good quarterback or it's just Mike McCarthy is not letting the offense go a little bit more, but it's been a frustrating season, but it really highlights how bad the team is without Aaron Rodgers. They really need to do better with the defensive line. I like the linebackers, Blake Martinez. The corners are not very impressive. Maybe we need a little bit more speed on receiving, a little bit more consistency with tight ends. So I'm just having fun with the season, riding with them to the end. And hopefully this puts Ted Thompson on notice that, hey, you need to do a better job either drafting or bringing in free agents. Big fan of the podcast. Andre in LA, great and gold, so I'm dead and cold. Go Pack, go.
Go Pack, go indeed, Andre. Thanks again for giving us a call. Letting us know your thoughts. You made a lot of great points there. Always good to hear from you. And yeah, I don't really know what to say about Brett Hundley at this particular point, but it's good to have the mindset, like you said, just kind of enjoying the season, watching the games, hoping for the best, and who knows what may happen. We still have, the Bears and the Browns in our near future.
I still say that Ted Thompson drafts perfectly fine. I mean, he's found the diamonds in the rough in the past. It's fine on that side. I think it's everybody screaming about going in free agency and getting stuff from free agency. That's where he fails consistently. I mean, the trades that he made last year, you got Martellus coming in this year. The fact that we don't pay the people we should pay, like, I don't know, Jared Cook, who had a smashing game this week. Like, I would have given anything to have him back on the Packers roster at this point. But it's not, I don't know why people complain about Ted Thompson. It's not Ted Thompson. It's coaching. I mean, it is Dom Capers. It is everything on that defensive side of the ball. Blake Martinez is like the saving grace, and Clay is good, but Clay isn't what Clay used to be. And Nick Perry's on the injury report again. It's like, come on, where's the pass rush? If we don't have a pass rush, the secondary will be exposed no matter how good your secondary is. And I think the secondary is not that bad. We had those 2 interceptions against New Orleans in 2 drives. It's not that awful. It's the fact that there's no pass rush. I mean, there's no pass rush. A quarterback can carve you up, no problem. That's why the big 5 and the offensive line were so good, because that's why Aaron Rodgers was able to do what he's able to do, because they were the best 5 offensive linemen as a unit together in the NFL for the most part. And so when you don't have that, it falls apart. And that's why this defense looks as bad as it does. Pass rush has to be number 1.
I love a great pass rush and seeing Packers sack opposing quarterbacks. And boy, I have not seen that enough this season.
Not at all.
I think there was a couple. It's been a while.
Hi guys, Art here from Texas. Good to talk to you guys again. Well, I guess we lost Bulaga now for the year. I was thinking about what you guys said earlier during the season. You guys think it has to do anything with the training staff? Like, all these injuries? Or maybe it has to do that Lambeau Field has, natural grass and maybe all these other stadiums have turf and maybe it affects the players, you know what I mean? As far as injuries are concerned. I don't know. Just wondering what you guys' thoughts on that is. Thanks. Go Pack, go.
Go Pack, go indeed. It's definitely natural grass. I mean, I have allergies. It drives me crazy. It gets itchy eyes, runny nose. I mean, turf all the way, man. No, never put in turf. I'm like,
who the heck? What the heck is going on?
Never put in turf. I'd rather have allergies than have turf toe any day of the week.
Yeah, the teams that we've been on the road and they've had the artificial turf, that's contributed to more injuries, I believe. I think our natural grass is the way to go. I know that we bring it up now and then, but I can't believe that our training staff would have much to do with it. But something weird is going on where even though some other teams have horrible injuries, I know the Colts, they're out without Andrew Luck for the entire year, but somehow we seem to have more injuries than anybody else. Do you think it has anything to do with, what was it, the goat that had something to do with the Chicago Cubs? Could that have bled over into Wisconsin? What's going on?
I don't think it's goat, because goat cheese is still pretty good cheese.
That's true.
I just think that it's preparation. It's not enough practice, not enough getting hit in training camp, not enough getting all that crap out of the way. They're so tentative now because they don't want to lose people for the season that they hold back in training camp. And then when it comes time to play in the season, they get hurt. And I really think that it has to do with conditioning and training and diet and all that other stuff. It's just weird that it's happening as bad as it is up in Green Bay for the 3rd or 4th consecutive year now. It's freaking ridiculous. One or two guys on the report a week, I get, but 10, 11, 12 people on the report, that's a problem. Someone's got to look into that.
Yeah, and I think for the NFL in general, and although the players would deny it, I think it's the agreement with the union, the Players Association, and like you said, Troy, less, a shorter camp and less of this and less of that, and people just show up expecting to play football pretty much. But all teams should be on an equal footing on that side. But I don't know.
They show up and expect to do some kind of football and then get hurt and then collect a paycheck.
Can't have that.
No. We also got an email in from Stephen, or I'm not sure. We'll call him Steve. How's that sound?
Okay.
And he said, here's what I think the Green Bay Packers should do better in their next game against the Chicago Bears. Ready?
I'm ready. I'm taking notes because I'm going to look for this Sunday morning.
Steven says, score some bleeping points against the bleeping Chicago Bears.
That's a solid game plan.
I love it. I'm sure he didn't say bleeping. Maybe he did. That would have been funny too.
Steven.
So frustrated he can't even swear properly.
So good to get your email. And yeah, that's what I'm looking for Sunday. Well, here on the West Coast, it's Sunday at 10 a.m. So nice early game, a normal game time. Maybe that alone will really help our mojo.
I smell omelets cooking for that game.
I think so too. Though right now it actually says that Fox is going to be airing that game here. I don't know
Get
why.
out.
I don't know why, but that's what it says right now. But I'm still prepared to leave to go watch the game elsewhere if it's not on here.
Surprisingly, here in Chicago, they're showing the Rams game instead.
Are you kidding?
No, they're not.
If you want to see a lot of touchdowns for whatever reason, the Rams have the secret this year, them and the Eagles.
No doubt.
Somebody's
That'd be an interesting NFC Championship game if that actually happens.
And that both teams that scored 50 points, be the highest scoring championship game in 100 years. That'd be fantastic.
Crazy.
We need the Packers to be in that championship game. Now, this past week we did not have a weekly Monday Twitter poll because the game was Monday, and then by Tuesday, all the other things we were talking about kind of covered everything.
Yeah.
It'll be back next Monday. Be ready at Packers Fan Pod.
So we look at the injury report. As we mentioned, Brian Bulaga is out for the season. Morgan Burnett hurt once again with the groin. Quentin Dial still sitting back there with his chest, as well as Ahmad Brooks. So much for the 49er pickups this season. And then Nick Perry back out again with the foot, limited in practice today. Lane Taylor was a full participant, which is good news, given the fact that Brian Bulaga is out. And then, of course, Joe Thomas still sitting out there waiting to see some action.
Now, you didn't mention Aaron Rodgers. He's doing well, right?
He was standing on the field. So, yeah, healing commences.
But technically still on the injury report.
Yeah, it doesn't matter at this point. He's on IR, so.
Well, that's true. That's why he wouldn't be there. Okay. So we wait for mid-December, and we assess Aaron, and we assess the Packers and the playoff scenarios. And so we still got a little over a month to go.
We got Chicago, Baltimore, Tampa, Cleveland. We can still get an 8-8 season.
Oh, absolutely.
And not 10, and even 10-6 should be no problem with the schedule. We just have to play better football.
Yes. And in fact, when we go to Pittsburgh and go to Carolina, teams don't know what to expect from us right now. I don't know what to expect from us right now, but maybe those teams will play to the level of the Green Bay Packers, and then we can turn around and shock them.
Wait, you mean we'll be the team you're not supposed to, that you just overlook, but you shouldn't overlook? That's an interesting twist.
It is an interesting twist. I hate the fact that I even said it, but after this past weekend, I bet teams are going, oh, well, can't wait for the Packers to come. So we need to be ready to shock them.
Shock and awe. Well, Vince Beagle played his first game this week. That was pretty exciting.
Good to get him warmed up because he could really be a star the rest of the season and do fantastic things for us.
Yeah, and then we saw, of course, Derek Hart, our new long snapper, out there playing, as well as Trayvon Pepper. He was out there too. So got a couple guys out there. And then we also had, Dontello Brown was signed to the active roster from the Packers squad. And Emmanuel Byrd was signed to the practice squad then to fill that hole. And then Kencho Bryce, unfortunately, will be on the IR from a safety perspective. That's a big loss.
And a couple months ago, we were all super excited to be getting a Super Bowl winning tight end, Martellus Bennett, to the Green Bay Packers to help repeat the performance. And I don't know what the heck happened there. And then we find out late this afternoon, he's mysteriously been cut from the team. He's just gone.
That is the weirdest thing. I mean, to me, granted, I thought he'd be a little bit of a locker room distraction, really wouldn't gel with the team, given some past stuff, especially coming from the Bears at one point. But at the same time, he's still a world-class tight end. He's like one of the top tight ends in the class. That's, for his numbers, I mean, he's up there with like the Gronks and the Antonio Gates and guys of that caliber. So he's a great player
for his whole body of work.
Yeah, exactly.
Not this.
But not this season. And it was just one of these Ted Thompson. It was a disappointment. Like Jared Cook should have been re-signed. I have no reason why, especially after the giant catch in Dallas.
Right.
You pay the man the money.
Jared.
You pay the man the money and you keep him here because, man, he's just been putting up tons of numbers in Oakland.
And that's unfortunate.
Yep. Luckily, we don't play those guys this year.
And then Martellus Bennett this season, a lot of drops. And there were games where I forgot he was even there. Then right around shortly after Aaron Rodgers gets injured, he talks about possibly retiring and dedicating the rest of the games of the season to his longtime fans. Then he gets some sort of mysterious injury, and we have the bye week, and then he gets cut.
Yeah. So
Bonkers.
the official line is not accurately reporting an injury or something of that nature, whether that was something that was like lingering from the beginning of the season back in training camp or as part of the trade. I'm not sure. To me, it looks like it was more of a discipline action.
Yeah.
I quite think it's a faked injury, to be quite honest, and he's going to get on the waiver wire. A contending team is going to pick him up, like the Eagles or the Rams.
Ugh.
And all of a sudden the shoulder injury will be mysteriously healed. Then you have some people that are saying, well, he just kind of poo-pooed this whole thing because he wanted Kaepernick to come into the Packers. And because he didn't get Cap, he's like, fine, I'm not going to play then.
That would be the stupidest thing I've ever heard. But nothing blows me away anymore. What a weird year.
Yeah, I mean, given the head case that he is sometimes, wouldn't put it past him either. All I know is that he's not there anymore. And hopefully Lance Kedricks will continue my preseason assessment streak between him and Aaron Jones. So hopefully Lance will be able to shine. Because I thought he was really good in preseason, and he should have been the starter.
Yeah. And I wonder, with Ted Thompson actually pulling the trigger on a big free agency move and bringing in Martellus Bennett and then it going to pot like it did, he may not ever go to free agency again.
Right. He's going to be super gun shy.
I'm not going near that crap. Oh, and then, wow. Did you see what Colin Cowherd did on his show the other day?
At first, I have to say this because he's like, a loudmouth blabbering pundit, right?
Right. He does have his shtick.
But his name is Cowherd. So is that? I just find it ironic. That's all.
Spelled Cowherd.
Cowherd, but it's Cowherd.
Man, I'd love to have his microphone. If he ever moves up, I'll take that Electro Voice mic off his hands.
So for those that have not heard the rant is basically a lesson in unhealthy relationships. So if you are married and you're doing 75% of the work and your spouse is doing 25% of the work, you are in an unhealthy relationship. And that is what he feels Aaron Rodgers is with the Green Bay Packers. Aaron Rodgers is showing up, putting in the time, doing the work, and they're just expecting him to carry the team, and the team's not doing anything to get him players to support him, people around him, et cetera, et cetera. And then because of that, he feels that when Aaron Rodgers has his option on his contract, he should actually test the market and see what he could get somewhere else. He doesn't have to stay and re-sign with the Packers blindly. And after listening to his points and the way he was, equating it to relationships, I have to say, I don't disagree with Colin. I'd be super upset if Aaron Rodgers left because I have this giant picture of him in my office right behind me that's signed by him. It's like I already got my heart broken once when Brett Favre left. Aaron can't do it too. I want him to retire as a Green Bay Packer and go out in a blaze of glory with a Super Bowl win.
Yes.
At the same time, it's a business. And if I get a chance to make more money than Matthew Stafford on the open market, I'm probably going to have to take a look at it. And then the Packers are going to have to overpay to keep me.
Oh boy. Yeah. He does make a lot of great points. It's sad to be able to even admit it. And we will link to a video clip of his rant. If you haven't already seen it, you can watch it at PackersFanPodcast.com/144. And I asked the Packers faithful on Twitter for their thoughts, and Cheesehead Lifer said, it's scary to think about. You think we have problems now? nothing compared to losing Rodgers for good. Something has to give. Changes need to be made in the coaching staff.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if Mark Murphy's the right guy, to be quite honest, to be throwing down the hammer and making those changes either. I don't know. It's just interesting. Interesting all around. Ryan Hunter said, yeah, the herd is right. It's sad and disgusting, but he's right. Aaron is the best quarterback ever to play, and Green Bay does not respect it.
And Tom the Glass Man said, beginning of the end of Packers greatness. I remember the 80s well. For those that do not, you're about to live through the same. Ooh, that's foreboding, Tom.
No!
Not the 80s again. I'm going to...
Or the 70s, even worse.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's possible, but I don't think so. I think the Packers' whole organization has come a long way since then, and we're on the national map once and for all. We just got to retool a bunch of things. So
yeah,
always trying to look on the green and gold bright side, hoping for the best, Tom.
We need someone to pinch these guys and make sure they're not asleep.
That'd be nice.
Packer Girl 52 said in response, sad to say, but the herd is right. I can't think of another season without him. They better make some changes. We cannot lose Aaron. Hashtag go Petco.
That is absolutely right. We cannot lose Aaron. I mean, he is the face, one of the faces of the NFL and the face of the Green Bay Packers, no matter what it costs. AR-12, Green Bay.
Well, shall we look ahead?
Let's look ahead because it's Bears week, Troy, and the Bears still, you know.
Yep. Always and forever. Amen. Well, let's start out by making the keys of the game this week, much like the coaching staff, and simplify the game plan because, you know what? I think that the keys of this game are going to be very, very simple.
Okay.
Ready?
I'm ready. Let's win this game.
Number 1, convert on third down on the offensive side of the ball.
Great idea. I love it.
Number 2, score some points.
That would be nice. I like
Number
it.
Number three, get off the field on third down on the defensive side of the ball.
That sounds like a win-win. Get off the field on defense on third down. I'm writing that one down. I'm looking for that this week in Chicago.
And then number 4, score some points.
I know that's a repeat, but if we could double score points, we could win this game.
We sure could. And then number 5, don't commit stupid penalties.
Amen to that.
Now, granted, there were only 2 penalties, but one of those 2 penalties against Detroit was a big penalty, and that was the 1 third down we decided that we were actually going to stop the Lions on because they didn't punt the whole game, by the way. But they would have punted on that series had Mike Daniels not literally blown his top off.
Mike Daniels of all people.
Guy. Come on. And remember, we already beat the Bears once, so this should be an easy victory.
Woohoo! Go Pack, go!
So just to recap, in case you missed that, convert on third down on offense.
Check.
Score points.
Check.
Get off the field on third down on defense.
Check.
Score points.
Check.
Don't commit stupid penalties.
Check.
Should be able to beat the Bears. God help us.
I'm looking forward to it and hoping that game's right on my cozy TV at the house Sunday, 10 a.m. Pacific time.
If not, by 1:30, it'll be a perfect time for a nap.
You got it. Well, the Packers-Bears series goes back a long way, so the Packers dope sheet covers the Packers at Bears game big time this week. It's week 10, and we'll link to the full dope sheet at PackersFanPodcast.com/144. And basically the 4-4, boy, does that hurt me to say, the 4-4 Green Bay Packers head to Chicago to play the 3-5 Bears Sunday at high noon Central. The Packers go on.
It actually hurts me more to hear you say the 3-5 Bears, because that means if we lose, we could be in last place.
Well, perish the thought, because they would own a slight tiebreaker.
Oh, wait, am I an announcer right now because I'm actually on a microphone? Did I just curse us?
Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first.
It's my fault. Sorry.
That's at Troy Heinrichs on Twitter. Heinz Ketchup, Ritz Crackers, no E in the middle.
No Z in the middle.
No Z in the middle. Boy, I got to spell this correctly.
HEINZ is Heinz Ketchup.
Oh, that's true.
HEINE is more like the rear end of your butt. Your hiney.
But Ritz Crackers are the best.
Definitely.
Okay, now the Green Bay Packers go on the road for the first time in almost a month to take on the Chicago Bears. Can you believe?
And for almost the rest of the season.
That's true. Going on the road. We haven't been on the road in about a month, and we still lost 3 in a row.
Brutal.
Green Bay has won at Chicago in the regular season each of the last 6 years. So take that, Chicago. And the Packers have scored 30-plus points at Chicago in each of the last 4 matchups. I find it hard to believe that will happen again this week, but it's possible. Might as well go with history. And including a 2010 playoff victory at Chicago, which was quite fabulous, Green Bay has won 20 of the last 24 meetings between the rivals while playing at Soldier Field. Can I get a Go Pack Go?
Go Pack Go!
And Sunday will mark game number 196 in the NFL's oldest rivalry. And the Packers, thanks to the game earlier this season, hold a 95-94 and 6 ties. We hold the edge in the series, which includes 2 playoff games where we're split. Dating back to last season, Green Bay has won 3 consecutive games over the Bears, outscoring them 91-51. The Packers won the first meeting this season, as we all remember, 35-14 at Lambeau Field, which was beautiful, Troy.
Especially when it was amongst the rainstorm.
Crazy times, man. This whole season is just crazy. But let's make sure we score at least 30 points again this week, and I have a feeling victory will be ours. And since this rivalry goes back so far, and Chicago and Green Bay are so geographically close to each other, the notable connections takes up like 3 pages. But here's the couple that really jumped out at me because, of course, Green Bay offensive coordinator Edgar Bennett played running back, unfortunately, for the Bears in 98 and 99. And pains me to say, Chicago guard Josh Sitton, should still be a Packer, was originally drafted by Green Bay in the 4th round in the 2008 NFL draft and played for the Packers from 2008 through 2015. And there's a billion more connections. Check them all out in the official Green Bay Packers dope sheet, linked at PackersFanPodcast.com/144.
Yeah, Sitton's one of those where it's like, why didn't we just pay him?
Exactly.
I just don't get it, especially when you draft him. He's been here for like 7-8 years.
And he's been awesome.
Keep the guy on the team. It's like, come on, let the guy finish his career where he started it.
Not elsewhere in the NFC North.
Nope. Well, predictions time. I said it was going to go to overtime, so clearly I was way out of pace, so you can go first.
Okay, well, let me preface it all by saying, the weather in Chicago right now, it looks like Sunday's game, the high will be 40 degrees. There's a 15% chance of rain, but I can almost bet on rain. So, yeah.
40 degrees is really more like 20 with that wind off the lake.
Because the stadium's like right next to one of the lakes.
Yes. Well,
it's going to be chilly and possibly wet. Yeah. This week, I'm just, oh boy, I'm not expecting very many points, although I'd like a lot of Packers points. I do think the Packers are going to win, though, 17-15.
5 field goals. Got it. Okay.
Check. And the Packers, maybe 5 field goals and a safety.
Man.
But we win.
I can't pick a Bears victory.
No, you cannot.
17 for the Packers as well as what I have. 13 for the Bears.
All right. So
it's a win.
And how are they going to get to 13? Since you're always asking me how these kind of odd scores come up.
2 field goals and a late fourth quarter meaningless touchdown to ruin the betting odds in Vegas for everybody. Woo! God, were people pissed off on Tuesday morning.
I was afraid you were going to say the Bears get 4 safeties and a field goal or something.
No.
But a Packers victory, that's what matters. We
get
gotta
one.
because yes, you learn from experience. And like Vince Lombardi used to say, something along the lines of, if winning becomes a habit, then it's a habit, and we just keep on winning. We don't want losing to become a habit.
Just keep winning. Just keep winning, winning.
One more time, because I love that song.
Just keep winning. Just keep winning, winning.
And speaking of winning, we have some winning listeners of the Packers Fan Podcast. All of you are winners in our books. But we also want to thank the folks that are supporting us on Patreon. We want to send very special kudos to Packers Fan Podcast Patreon supporter Aiden Cassidy in Australia, pledging support of the Packers Fan Podcast at the Aaron Rodgers $12 level. You are truly an MVP-worthy Packers fan. And as usual, we'll be sharing your hearty Go Pack Go in the outro of this podcast. And this time with a little special added fun element.
Oh, fabulous. I'm looking forward to hearing that. Also welcoming new Patreon supporter at the Brett Favre level, Diane Burnett. You rock so much. Thanks for your $4 Favre-tastic sponsorship. We really appreciate it. Go Pack Go to you, Diane.
Absolutely. And also reminding us of the grit and passion of Brett Favre, the Texas-only Green Bay Packers Fanatics Facebook group, supporting the podcast at the Brett Favre $4 level.
And Jeff Summerfield also checking in at the Brett Favre $4 level. He's a GeForce MVP. Way to go, Jeff. Thanks so much. And we certainly appreciate it.
And as always, thank you. And a Go Pack Go to Alex J at the Curly Lambeau appreciation level. Thanks again for supporting your Packers Fan Podcast.
All right. And help make that podcast even better, make sure you become a Packers Fan Podcast Patreon supporter. Just go to patreon.com/Packers Fan Podcast. That's Patreon, PackersFanPodcast.com. You can go there too, PackersFanPodcast.com/support. We'll take you to the same place. So whichever one is easier for you to remember, just go on over and throw a couple bucks our way. We'd greatly appreciate it. You could even come to a game with me in the 2018 season at Lambeau Field. So make sure you do that again. Patreon.com/Packers Fan Podcast. Just like Alex, Diane, Aiden, the Texas-only Green Bay Packers fanatics, and Jeff, you too can be an awesome supporter of the show.
Yes, thank you again for supporting us on Patreon. We also heard a little bit of feedback from Twitter this week. Cameron Black just wanted us to know there's not much hope for the rest of the season, to be honest. But hey, for once, we're going to have a high draft pick.
Maybe. And that Chosen Radar said, a bad team being exposed as a bad team, bad coaching staff, all covered up by the best quarterback ever to play the game. It's true.
Those are not the most uplifting comments, but we appreciate your honesty, and they very well may be true. And I've heard a lot of people talking about Aaron Rodgers covering up a lot for the team. And gosh, they say it's a full team sport, but it's hard to believe how much can change when one quarterback wearing number 12 goes down.
It's a lot of deflated everything. Deflated fandom, deflated ratings, deflated it's a hard time right now. But the Bears are here, and we all hate the Bears, so we can at least rally around that.
Absolutely, we can rally around that.
So let's start rallying by finishing up the show. The unofficial Packers Fan Podcast is now over and still not affiliated with the NFL or the Green Bay Packers. However, if you know someone that can make that happen, tell them to email us at media@PackersFanPodcast.com. And again, don't forget to become one of the PFP MVPs by going over to PackersFanPodcast.com/support. If you can't support us on Patreon, just do all of your Christmas and holiday shopping with our Amazon affiliate link, and you can go ahead and buy whatever you need, gift wrapped, shipped right to your door. Plus, it helps out the show at the same time.
And remember to listen to us on the go. We have our free Packers Fan Podcast apps, one for iOS, one for Android. If you're a bilingual family and you have both, download it on both. Why not? Follow us all season on Twitter for the weekly Monday Twitter polls and more shenanigans at Packers Fan Pod. And my personal account, if you want to follow me on Twitter, I'm at Wayne Henderson. And you, sir?
I am at Troy Heinrichs, and be sure to join the Packers Fan Podcast community as well and chat with all your fellow Packers Fan Podcast listeners and Packers fans. Just go to PackersCommunity.com to join up and have fun in the conversation.
Yeah, definitely do that because you can keep the conversations going there. Even when we're not around, there's lots of great Packers fans in the group, and we want it to grow more and more. And like we mentioned earlier, after the Bears game, we want your feedback to share on next week's episode of the podcast. So go to PackersFanPodcast.com/feedback and get your thoughts in and keep the conversations going online because the Packers fandom is the best fandom. And with that in mind, I want to thank you for listening to this week's episode of your Packers Fan Podcast.
Be sure to subscribe in Apple Podcasts as well and leave us a review. And now it's time to get fired up because it's Bears week once again, people. And we're going to get it done right by hearing Aiden cheer us on.
Aiden here saying, go Pack, go.
Go Pack, go. Go Pack, go. Go, go, go.